This is a big old Navajo rug. This is about almost the size of this is about 6 by 9. In the old days, this was probably from about 1920, 1930. Of course, all of the old yarn, the old rugs have hand spun, hand carded yarn in it. It was not mill spun, it was not evenly spun, it was not all the same. So an old rug like this has many batches of various shades of grays and browns through it, because the weavers in the family was carding and spinning the yarn to weave with this rug in small batches, and they'd weave it as they went, prepare another batch of yarn, and each time they're preparing a batch of yarn, a batch of wool, a batch of fleece to spin into yarn, every batch is a little bit different because they're taking yarn from this and that fleece and carding it together. And so they have all these variations, and this is a good ethnographic piece in the sense that it's all hand spun, hand carded yarns, no dyes in this piece whatsoever except the red edge cords, which would be dyed with aniline. And when you look at a rug like this, they're really pretty because they have all these variations through them. And the Turkish word for that in the Turkish Oriental rug world is abrash. And we use that word now in North America too, to talk about the striations of variations of either dye or hand carded, hand spun yarn. Whenever you have these changes through the piece with basically the same color but just variations in shade, and like this one that's called an abrash. An abrash would be this section here is a certain abrash, and this is a little abrash right here, and all those variations are just typify the old pieces. This one has a blanket type of texture. It's very loose, but it's also very heavy. The old rugs you'd find like this have a lot of lanolin still in them. That makes the yarn heavier. In the old days, they didn't wash the yarn as thoroughly as we do today. So a lot of that grease or lanolin would stay in the yarn, add weight to it. Also add shine and durability, because that little bit of lanolin that stays in this yarn, even though it's been washed, provides a certain slipperiness and impediment to stains and so on like that. You won't find these old ones that are heavy like this. If you find a new rug like this size, this design, it'd be lighter because there's less lanolin in a processed yarn that's mill spun. And this is a typical lazy line right here. You'll see that diagonal line across there. This has a lot of lazy lines in it. Little ones here, there's a big one. Here's the one right here. That's, you find that in all Navajo rugs that are big, and weaving a section, then moving over and weaving another section. So that also characterizes Navajo weaving, is that this enables the weaver to weave faster. Weave a section sitting at the loom, then they'll move over and weave in the section they left open here and fill that in. And maybe you have to be a weaver, really know these pieces to understand that. But the lazy line, which is a long diagonal through the rug, and here's another little one, here's another little one. Those are all highly desirable because they do prove that this is a Navajo woven textile. This one's in real good shape. There's no fade to it either side. It has been used, but not much. And here you'll see this is a natural old brown, undyed, right off the brown sheep. And they never use much of this brown, this camel brown, because you don't get many sheep that color. They try to breed them, but you just don't get it that often. So that's why most of these rugs have less brown than any of the other color. This is also dark brown, but that's more common than the camel brown. And you can see changes in these colors too, because these are also being carded and hand spun right along. Here you see that significant change in batch of yarn that they're spun here and carded. Right across here you can see how different that is. That's all this same color really, but it just, you know, different shades from different sheep and so on, and they're spinning and carding this right along as they weave it. Same with the dark brown. This is a natural dark brown, and here it's pretty much all the same, but looks black there. But here we have the changes, you know, here it's dark and here it's light and here's some stripes of variation. So the whole piece comes off as a good tribal piece, which it is, very ethnographic, very desirable. And the colors go with practically any decor. This is kind of what people think of when they talk about old Navajo rugs, these big, bold, beautiful things that are all hand done. except for the dyeing of the red for the edge cords. That's pretty much the only chemical in this rug, is the trivial dye amount in this edge cording, which is red. I'll show you. You can see that there's no fade in this rug. Both sides and that are the same, and fade especially. This tan is very susceptible. This is a pigment. This is not a dye in the fleece or the yarn or the hair. This is a pigment. That's superficial. So a natural pigmented color is more prone to fade and will fade faster than a dyed yarn. So if any of these, if this rug were left outside for a long time or left out in the sun, were used for many years in a room with one side up only, then it would, the other two sides would be much different, because these natural yarns really do fade faster than aniline dyed wool. However, this rug was apparently never exposed to much light and wasn't even used much. So therefore, both sides are exactly the same. It's obviously never been exposed to much light, let alone not much wear. It's a great rug.